the Prabhus. Krishna, Krishna, Hare All the Prabhus.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All Shri Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our online Sunday program where, because due to the weather, we had to have it home. We hope and pray that everyone is safe and sound at home with, in the safety of the comfort of the homes. We will start with the opening prayers and we will go straight into the class. And today will be the part 5 and the last session of Lord Chaitanya's life and teachings, Mercy in Motion. And it's a perfect time actually because next week is, as you all know, we have postponed the Brahmotsav festival. to next Sunday, which is a perfect timing, followed by Gaur Purnima 2 days after. So it's Mercy in Motion. Perfect title for what we're going to be discussing. So we'll start with Prabhupada's pranams. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Atyashatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So last week, Jit Mitra ended with the pastime of Lord Chaitanya being in Varanasi, and I will continue from there and conclude the whole pastimes of the Lord and his teachings. As you know, that it's a very small booklet, 70 something pages, and it's an overview, it's a summary of the Lord's life. And there are other books written by the Goswamis and Acharyas, more in depth of Lord Chaitanya's lives and teachings. And of course, the one that is detailed as ever is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. So, picking up from where Jit Mitra left off, so Lord Chaitanya at that time was in Varanasi, staying at the home of his devotees Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar. At that time, Sanatan Goswami came to the home of Tapan Mishra because we will speak a little bit about Sanatan Goswami later on. But just to give a quick overview, is he wanted to dedicate and commit his life to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the Sankirtan movement. So he gave up everything and got onto a journey to come to the home of Tapan Mishra, where Lord Chaitanya was staying. At that time, Varanasi was overflooded with Mayavadi believers. I mean, overflooded because of their leader, who was Prakashananda Saraswati. And because he was the leader of the Mayavad philosophy, everybody, majority of them were Mayavadi believers. So the whole of Varanasi was overflooded with Mayavadi believers. When Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi, the people of Varanasi were very attracted to Lord Chaitanya for three reasons. One of it was because of his Sankirtan movement, which involved the melodious singing and glorification of the Lord. And as we all know, that Lord Chaitanya was very beautiful. So they were very attracted to his bodily features, long arms, long arms and hands, hands down to the knees. Imagine the Supreme Lord being so beautiful that his hands were so long that it was almost touching the knees of his leg. That's how long the Lord's hands were. He was very tall and beautiful. And so anyone who sees Lord Chaitanya were very attracted to his bodily features and to his melodious voice. Of course, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was perfect in every way, perfect in any and every way. So his beautiful melodious voice was also very attractive to the people of Varanasi. So the Mayavadi believers designated themselves as Narayan. That was one of their philosophies, that everyone is God, everyone is Narayan, everyone is supreme, everyone is one, the whole Mayavad philosophy. So when they saw Lord Chaitanya, some of them considered him to be Narayan. Soon, this disturbing news reached their leader of the Mayavad philosophy, which was Prakashananda Saraswati. Of course, being the leader of the Mayavad, group, he was not happy to hear this. He was not happy at all. He was so unhappy that he minimized Lord Chaitanya as being like a normal Vaishnav sannyasi, like he's one of the sannyasi because he's wearing saffron. Yeah, big deal. And he didn't think anything big of Lord Chaitanya. He minimized him to the level of a regular Vaishnav sannyasi, and he criticized the Lord Sankirtan movement. Everything that the Lord did, he criticized. So, and he even told his followers, do not follow Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, do not listen, do not do anything. They are just simple, Vaishnavas, some sannyasis. They are, they are like, whatever, very low. Don't think, don't follow them. So the criticism was spread all over Varanasi. And one of the devotee, Brahmin of Lord Chaitanya, was very, very angry and did not like the criticism of Prakashananda Saraswati. So much so that the Brahmana was very angry that he went to Lord Chaitanya and he told Lord Chaitanya that this Mayavad philosopher leader, Prakashananda Saraswati, is criticizing you. And I don't like it. I'm very, very upset. However, he told Lord Chaitanya, I noticed that each time he was criticizing you, he was uttering your name, Chaitanya, 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 but he could not utter the name of Krishna. It just wouldn't come at the tip of his tongue. He would repeatedly say, Chaitanya did this, Chaitanya did that, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. He was able to utter your name while criticizing you, but he couldn't utter the name of Krishna. Then Lord Chaitanya explained to the Brahmana that the reason that the Mayavadis cannot utter the holy name, not even the name of Krishna, is because they are offenders at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. That's why they cannot utter the holy name, not even the name of Krishna, because they cannot see that there is no difference between the holy name and the Lord himself. There is no difference between the Murti of the Lord, the deity of the Lord, and the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. There is no difference between the Bhagavad, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, and the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. So because they see differences when there are no differences, therefore they cannot utter the name of Krishna. And they don't understand the supremacy of the Lord, the beautiful pastimes of the Lord, the name and the fame of the bliss. So because of all these reasons, Lord Chaitanya said they will never understand Krishna. And that is why they are offenders at the lotus feet of the Lord, and that's why they cannot utter the name of Krishna. So then what happened was there was a great meeting arranged by the devotees of the Lord where they invited all the sannyasis all over Varanasi, including Lord Chaitanya and Prakashananda Saraswati. So in this meeting, both Lord Chaitanya and Prakashananda Saraswati had a very long discussion on the spiritual values of the Sankirtan movement. So Prakashananda Saraswati asked Lord Chaitanya, why is the Sankirtan movement more important than the study of the Vedanta? Why is that so important? So Lord Chaitanya, being as humble as he is, replied, he says that he is a great fool. And because he's a great fool, he cannot understand the study of the Vedanta, which is what is the, and to put it in a nutshell, it actually means Vedanta means the culmination of the knowledge, which identifies that Lord Krishna is the ultimate supreme personality of Godhead, and the goal of life is the Lord. That's pretty much, the whole science of Bhakti Yoga. So Lord Chaitanya, being as humble as he is, he took the humble position and told Prakashananda Saraswati, I'm a fool. So how can a fool indulge in the study of Vedanta? Because this study has caused so much havoc in the society, so much havoc that a fool cannot understand. So who am I to understand this? He said. And because I'm a great fool, my spiritual master told me that I should chant the holy name of the Lord, and that chanting of the holy name of the Lord will deliver me from material bondage. So because I'm a fool, I don't know anything, I'm just going to follow my spiritual master's instructions. So he said, my spiritual master taught me one shloka. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nameva Kevalam. Kalau nastevya, nastevya, nastevya gatir anyatha. There is no other way, no other way, no other way to get out of this bondage except by chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So he said, this is what my spiritual master taught me, this one sloka. So on the order of my spiritual master, I'm chanting the names of the Lord. But because I'm following my guru's instructions and order, I am mad after this holy name. I have become a madman. I have become so much of a madman that when I utter the holy name, I forget myself completely. Sometimes I laugh, sometimes I cry, sometimes I dance like a madman, and I thought I was a madman. So I went to my spiritual master and I asked my spiritual master about my madness. And he said that this is the real effect of chanting the holy name, losing oneself completely to the Lord without any attachment to oneself, one's desires, one's sense gratification, whatever one plans for, etc. We just forget everything and we just give our complete self to the Lord. And my spiritual master said that this is the sign of love of God, which is the ultimate goal of life. So by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one attains the stage of love of God. And I am favored with the blessing. So I'm just following my guru's instructions. What he says I do, because I'm a fool. What do I know? I'm not smart. I'm a fool. So by the time the Lord ended his explanation, again, this is a very, uh, summary and overview of the Lord's discussion with Prakashananda Saraswati. And if you want to go deep into it, as I said, it's mentioned, the lengthy uh, pastime is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which will take days, hours and days. It's very, very deep. So by the time the Lord ended his explanation, everyone gathered in that meeting was convinced that Lord Chaitanya is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all those who gathered at that meeting accepted the signs of bhakti, accepted and embraced the Sankirtan movement, and accepted the power of chanting of the holy name. And they also agreed and accepted to sit with Lord Chaitanya and honor prasadam. And this news reached far and wide all over Varanasi, that thousands of people came to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya. And just by this meeting with all the sannyasis, where the Lord appeared to be a humble fool and glorifying his spiritual master, that what his guru said is just do this and that's that the whole of Varanasi was inundated with the Sankirtan movement of chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here in this little pastime, Lord Chaitanya himself is teaching us what it means to be a loyal disciple to the spiritual master, what it means to be a disciple, what it means to be a student, and what it means to follow the orders of the spiritual master. And what it ends when one follows the orders of the spiritual master, not 5%, not 10%, 100%. If one follows the spiritual master's orders 100%, whatever it takes to fulfill that order, there's the power and the mercy of the Lord's blessings. So here we see he's just executed the Sankirtan movement. The whole of Varanasi was dancing and chanting the holy name. So this news spread far and wide all over Varanasi. Now, not to say that it didn't spread all over India, okay, but Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi. So it spread all over Varanasi that at the time, Sanatan Goswami, who is the brother of Srila Rupa Goswami, he was an employee, a government servant, as we say in India. He was a government servant of the Bengal government. And he held a very high post job. I mean, a really, really high profile, a high post job in the Bengal government under the ruler of Nawab Hussain Shah. Srila Sanatan Goswami had the deepest desire to join Lord Chaitanya in his preaching. He had the very, very big desire. And he said, I want to join the Lord's movement. I want to serve and help and spread the Sankirtan movement all over for the Lord. So what did Sanatan Goswami do? He quit his job. He retired. He gave it up. No, that was a high profile government job. One would probably think a million times before they think, because at least in America, right, when we have a government job, there are a lot of perks, right? There are a lot of perks to hold a government job. Good insurance, good this, good that, good retirement, good pension. Pretty good. But Sanatan Goswami wanted to give it all up. He wanted to give it all up to join Lord Chaitanya in his preaching. So he did. He quit his government job, traveled to Varanasi, and met Lord Chaitanya and heard the glories of what Lord Chaitanya did in Varanasi, where the whole Varanasi was inundated with the Sankirtan movement of the chanting of the holy name. So while the Lord was camping at Varanasi, Sanatan Goswami arrived after quitting his government job under the ruler of Nawab Hussain Shah in Bengal. When Sanatan Goswami met Lord Chaitanya taught Sanatan Goswami. Again, it's this pastime is very explained. It's explained in detail in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If I'm not mistaken, I think Lord Chaitanya spent 10 days with Sanatan Goswami in Varanasi at the home of Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, and he taught him the principles of devotional service. 10 days, imagine. Now, whenever we think of the word, that they are being taught, it's not like 1 hour a day. It's not like half an hour a day, At those days, when they are being taught the science of devotional service, it's hours and hours in a day. Sometimes they don't sleep. Sometimes they don't eat because they are so absorbed in the beautiful science of Krishna consciousness and the beautiful science of devotional service that they're so wrapped in attention, completely wrapped attention in the science of learning the science of devotional service, that one does not get hungry, one does not get tired, one does not get sleepy. So here, Lord Chaitanya spent 10 days continuous, 10 days continuous, teaching him the science, the principles of devotional service. And one of the signs that Lord Chaitanya taught Sanatan Goswami, if anyone knows, they can unmute and say it, because we just had a class on this about 2-3 months ago with few devotees. I don't know if any one of you know which of the sciences did Lord Chaitanya teach. It taught Sanatan Goswami and wrote it into a book. Any guesses? Vaishnav etiquette. Lord Chaitanya taught Srila Sanatan Goswami the science of Vaishnav etiquette because they could foresee that Kali Yuga is going to be crazy. We can see it now. It's very chaotic. The basic mannerism, courtesy, behavior, whatever is like down the drain. It's going down, down, down. I don't know how far it's going to go, but it's definitely going down. So the Lord instructed Srila Sanatan Goswami to write the science of Vaishnav etiquette. And Srila Sanatan Goswami told Lord Chaitanya, please teach me. And that was one of the principles of devotional service. So Lord Chaitanya instructed Srila Sanatan Goswami in Vaishnav etiquette. So when we hear Vaishnav etiquette, many of us do know that Bhakti Swami wrote a manual of Vaishnav on Vaishnav etiquette. It wasn't compiled, it did not originate from Bhakti Swami. The source of Vaishnav etiquette is Lord Chaitanya, because he knew that as Kali Yuga progresses, people will not know how to behave, how to speak, how to do this, how to do that, how to not do, like the complete science. And we can see that now. Basic mannerism, how to speak, how to learn, how to sit, how to cook, how to not to do this, what not to do. It's all taught by Lord Chaitanya. And we all know that Lord Chaitanya is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it took the Supreme Personality of Godhead to teach commoners, common men, Vaishnav etiquette. Just wanted to bring that to our attention. So from Varanasi, the Lord wanted to travel to Mathura and Vrindavan. So at Mathura, the Lord visited all the important places. Every important place on the mark of the map, the Lord visited. Then he reached Vrindavan, the Lord's, the pastimes, the holy land of Lord Krishna. When he reached Vrindavan, the Lord took bath in all the holy bathing places, or what they call ghat. The Lord took bath in all the holy bathing places. So imagine that, because Lord Chaitanya, of course, Lord Krishna also played in all these holy places, but because Lord Chaitanya took bath in all these holy bathing places in Vrindavan, which means all those holy bathing places are now considered tirtha. Tirtha means holy pilgrimage. So we cannot, when we see these bathing places, all these holy bathing places, we have to look at it as a holy place, a tirtha. It's worshipable. It's very much worshipable because the Lord himself took bath in those holy places and those bathing places. So it's considered, it is a tirtha, a holy place. Then the Lord traveled to all the 12 important forests of Vrindavan. And in each forest, this is a very sweet pastime. Again, it's explained at length in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but I'm giving an overview here. Each of the 12 important forests that the Lord traveled to in Vrindavan, the birds and the cows and the bees and the peacocks and all the animals living in the forest were welcoming the Lord with all their beautiful animal sounds. And the way they were welcoming the Lord is as if they were welcoming an old friend who's returning back home. How sweet. I would like us to just take a moment to just, what's the word? Meditate on that little point. The Lord traveled to all the 12 important forests, and in each forest, all the birds and the cows and the bees and the monkeys and the parrots and whatever, they were all welcoming the Lord in their own animal sounds, as if they are welcoming an old friend who's returning after so many lifetimes. And of course, who was that? Krishna. Because Krishna played and danced and performed his pastimes in all these important forests in Vrindavan. So they're welcoming an old friend who was Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya. And the Lord and Lord Chaitanya reciprocated with all of these by embracing each tree. And he embraced that tree, and whenever he would embrace the tree, he could feel transcendental ecstasy. And when he felt this deep transcendental ecstasy, he would sometimes fall unconscious, he would be laughing, he would be crying, he would be rolling on the ground, and then he would regain consciousness, and then he would start chanting and chanting the holy name and dancing with both hands up in the air, because he was in complete bliss, complete trance. And in his travels, the Lord came to the place of the Rasa dance. Now, that is a very, 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 very special um, area, forest of Vrindavan, where the Rasa dance took place, and between Radha and Krishna. And when Lord Chaitanya came to that place, that's part of the Rasa dance, he went into complete transcendental ecstasy and trance. Complete, complete. So that was a beautiful overview pastime of the Lord visiting Mathura and Vrindavan. So on his travels, when Lord Chaitanya travels, he always travels with his personal servants. He doesn't travel, he has his personal servants with him. So one of his personal servants told Lord Chaitanya to go to Prayag to take bath in the holy bathing place. So when Lord Chaitanya went to Prayag in that visit, he met a lot of Pathans, and they are an ethnic group of people from Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. They all resided in this place, in Prayag. And when the people of Prayag saw Lord Chaitanya, they were mesmerized. This tall, beautiful, if I'm not mistaken, I think Lord Chaitanya was 8 foot tall in height, if I'm not mistaken. But very tall, because those days, people are very, very, very tall, extremely, extremely tall. It's just as Kaliga is progressing, we're getting shorter, 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 But yeah, so the people of Prayag, when they saw Lord Chaitanya, they were mesmerized. They were like, who is this beautiful man, golden, like shining golden, beautiful bodily features, singing with such melodious voice. Anyone who hears Lord Chaitanya singing and dancing and seeing the Lord, they just get caught, mesmerized, caught. It's so hard to take our eyes away from the Lord. He was that beautiful. So here, when the Lord was visiting Prayag and he met with the Spatans, some of them, the Lord addressed and told them that even in the Quran, there are descriptions of the science of Bhakti Yoga and Krishna. Now, this got attention of the residents of Prayag, the people of Prayag. And after hearing this knowledge from the Lord, all of the people of Prayag joined the Lord Sankirtan movement and accepted the science of bhakti. Just imagine, just by the holy name, the Lord was able to capture the hearts of so many people from so many walks of life, from so many backgrounds. So many backgrounds. While Lord Chaitanya was on the banks of the river in Prayag, Srila Sanatan Goswami's brother, who is Srila Rupa Goswami, and Srila Rupa Goswami is the younger brother. There are two brothers, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatan Goswami. Srila Sanatan Goswami is the elder brother, and Srila Rupa Goswami is the younger brother. And to both the brothers, Lord Chaitanya gave instructions. So for on the banks of Prayag, the Lord instructed Srila Rupa Goswami in the science of devotional service. And there are two very profound books that Srila Rupa Goswami compiled and wrote, and that is the nectar of instruction and the nectar of devotion. It is said by Srila Prabhupada that the nectar of instruction and especially the nectar of devotion is a handbook. The nectar of devotion is a handbook for devotees on how to learn and grow and proceed, and progress in the science of bhakti yoga. Lord Chaitanya also instructed Srila Rupa Goswami and advised him to how to protect the bhakti creeper against the mad elephant. And what is the mad elephant? Offenses to the devotees. So it's very interesting that Lord Chaitanya used the analogy of a mad elephant to explain the seriousness of offenses to the devotees. When we see a mad elephant running around mad, stomping into the garden and ruining the garden or the farm or the grounds, that is the effect of offenses that one commits to the devotees. It ruins our devotional creeper. Very, very detrimental. So we have to be very, very careful of offenses. And if we do not correct our offenses, if we do not learn from our offenses, if we do not know what we have done and don't understand it, then we should ask. See, one thing with offenses is when we have made an offense, we have to learn what is the offense that I do so that I can rectify it. Nowadays, what people do, is when before they are corrected, they'll say, please forgive me, but they haven't learned what they have been corrected. First, learn the correction so that we do not repeat the offense and then ask for forgiveness. It's not the other way around. Because because we will not know the offense that we have made. If we keep saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but we don't know what mistake we did, we'll be making the same mistake over and over and over and over, not knowing what we did was wrong. So we can be saying 10,000 sorries, not knowing what did I do wrong and how can I correct it? So here, it's a very strong example by Lord Chaitanya to Srila Rupa Goswami, advising him to protect the bhakti creeper, the creeper of devotion. Bhakti means devotion. The creeper of devotion against the mad elephant, which is the offenses. He also instructed Srila Rupa Goswami that the creeper should also be protected from the desires of sense enjoyment, violence against living beings, desire for worldly gain, fame, and adoration. All these are detrimental to the path of bhakti. And the word used is detrimental, which is, I feel personally, it's more stronger than the word dangerous. So we got to be very, very careful. And of course, the details of the science is explained, in detail, explicitly in Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. I highly recommend that one reads this book under the guidance and instruction of either the spiritual master or a senior devotee. The reason being is these two books are very, very deep, very, very scientific, and very powerful that one cannot read it and get it. We need a teacher in any subject. Like even when we go to school, right? We cannot learn math without a teacher. We cannot learn history or any subject without a teacher. The same thing applies in Krishna consciousness. We need a teacher to study and read a spiritual book. So the book Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion is very, very deep, and it's very hard for us to understand without a teacher. So if we want to really understand it, we need a teacher to teach us this real, actual science of nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion. So after this, after the Lord instructed Srila Rupa Goswami on the science of devotional service and how to protect the bhakti creeper, the creeper of devotion, from offenses and sense gratification and all that, the Lord instructed Srila Rupa Goswami to go to Vrindavan and excavate the lost sites of Krishna's pastimes. Because at that time, all these beautiful holy sites were hidden. They were covered up with forest and grass and bush and this and that. It was hidden for so many, generations, right? So many. So the Lord instructed Rupa Goswami to go to Vrindavan and excavate, go out and search and unveil the lost sites of the Lord's transcendental pastimes. And that's exactly what he did. I want to share a very quick, gist of Srila Rupa Goswami. Like his older brother, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami was also a government servant. He also was working, he was employed by the government of Bengal under Nawab Hussain Shah, and he also held a very, very high profile position in the Bengal government, like his brother. When Shilarupa Goswami retired from government service, he had two I mean BOAT. He had two boats full of gold coins. And those days, gold coins, if you have gold coins, you are like the richest man on the face of the earth, billionaire, or, like really. So he had two boats full of gold coins. And Srila Rupa Goswami, what he did was from his service to the government of Bengal, he distributed the gold coins. 50% of that he gave it to the service of the Lord Caitanya and his devotees. 25% he gave it to his family for their maintenance. And 25% he kept for himself for personal needs in case of emergency. So that is how Srila Rupa Goswami was distributed his money from his service of the Bengal government, and whatever he had for himself, 25%, he went to Vrindavan and he lived on that and did a lot of service to excavate the lost sites of the Lord's transcendental pastimes. Fast forwarding, like in many acharyas, they've left behind books, commentaries, spiritual books, written at length of different pastimes of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya did not write a book. He didn't write commentaries. He didn't write thesis. He just wrote 8 verses. And that's all he left behind. We will not get into this praise because that alone will take 8 days, 8 classes, believe it or not, because it's so much in depth. The Lord left behind 8 prayers of instructions, and they are known as the Shikshastakam. Asta means 8. Shikshastakam. So the Lord left behind 8 prayers, very, very powerful prayers, which probably another time we will find another time when we can go deeper into the study of the 8 prayers left behind by Lord Chaitanya. So these, but that's all he left. That's all that the Supreme Personality of Godhead left behind 8 powerful, beautiful prayers that every devotee should learn and study and embrace and live by it. That's why he left those behind. Fast forwarding, how the Lord, there was one devotee, I don't remember, that asked, how did the Lord disappear from the material world? Well, one day, Lord Chaitanya was always, he goes into this, moments of separation. Like he was telling Prakashananda Saraswati. One time he's laughing, he's a madman. He's mad after the holy name. He's always, in that mood of Vipralamba Seva. mood of separation, serving in the mood of separation. Vipralamba is separation, seva, and service, So Lord Chaitanya was always in the mood of separation, Vipralamba seva, from his Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, although he is Krishna. So once, every now and then the Lord will go into ecstasy and come out and go in and come out. And when he goes in, he would faint and he would go unconscious and he would, roll on the ground and all that. And his personal servants will have to help him regain consciousness. So there was one time that the Lord was again in that mood of ecstasy. When he was in the mood of ecstasy, he was going crazy like a madman. And he was looking, where is my prananath? Prananath means the life of my soul. Where is the Lord of my life? Pran means life, nath means Lord. So the Lord, Lord Chaitanya was in ecstasy, high ecstasy, running around, like a madman, looking for Krishna. Where is my Lord of my life? Where is the Lord of my life? Where's the breath of my life? Prananath, where are you? And all of a sudden, he started digging the ground. And as he was digging the ground, he suddenly saw a top portion of a deity. And at the time, his personal servant, Sri Gadadhar Pandit, happened to be with him. And he told Gadadhar Pandit, I found a most precious thing in this ground. Would you like to accept it? And Gadadhar Pandit said, sure. Anything from you is most auspicious. And then together they dug and dug and dug so much deep, and they removed from the sand a beautiful deity of Lord Sri Krishna. Beautiful deity. And chanting eyes, lotus, beautiful conch, chanting eyes. And Lord Chaitanya named him Gopinath, the lover, the Lord of the gopis. Gopinath means, gopi means the gopis, Nath means the Lord. So the Lord Chaitanya named the deity that they found in the ground Gopinath, the Lord of the gopis. And because the deity was found in this garden, because like I said, he was running around like a madman. Where's my prananath? Where's my life? Where's my what? Then he went to this garden, digging up the ground, the soil. And because the deity was found in this garden, in the Oriya language, which is one of the languages in India, in Bengal, I'm sorry, in Orissa. In Orissa, they speak Oriya, and Jagannath Puri is in Orissa. Um, in the Oriya language, Tota means garden, Tota. So because the Lord, this deity, was found in the garden, in the Oriya, it's called Tota for garden. So Lord Chaitanya named him Tota Gopinath, because the Lord of the gopis was found in the ground in the garden. So the devotees also started addressing the deity as Tota Gopinath. And Lord Chaitanya gave the responsibility of the deity service of Tota Gopinath to his dearmost Sri Gadadhar Pandit. And by the way, Sri Gadadhar Pandit is none other than Srimati Radharani herself. Amazing how the Lord's personal servants will come down and and take birth in this material world to be part of the Lord's pastimes. So at the age of 48 years old, now this temple where the deity is Tota Gopinath is in Jagannath Puri, which is in Orissa. So at the age of 45, 48, there was kirtan like every other night, every time. There's kirtan all over Jagannath Puri. There's kirtan all over, all the temples, everywhere. Where there's Lord Chaitanya, there is kirtan every time. So this one particular day, there was kirtan going on in the Tota Gopinath temple, where Lord Chaitanya has given the service to Gadadhar Pandit to care for this deity. During the kirtan, Lord Chaitanya was dancing in such ecstasy and trance, so much high ecstasy and trance, that he entered into the altar of Tota Gopinath deity, he merged into the into the Tota Gopinath deity and ended his pastimes and left the material world in Jagannath Puri. And it has been said that the Lord actually entered into the knee. Of course, if anyone asks me why the knee, we cannot understand the Lord's pastimes. He just chose the knee. Why he chose the knee, the Lord knows. I, to me, the Lord can decide however he wants to. But it was said that the Lord entered and merged into the Tota Gopinath deity through the knee of that deity. And it is said that if anyone were to visit the Tota Gopinath temple in Orissa, in Jagannath Puri, at a certain time of the day, and I think it's 7 in the morning is what I was told, that that the pujari will only allow certain devotees to actually see because there's a crack, there's a line. Till today, there is a line on the knee of the Toto Gopinath deity where it's what's the word that signifies that Lord Chaitanya merged into the knee of the Lord of this deity. So this is the beautiful, beautiful pastimes and teachings of Lord Chaitanya that we culminated, we kind of did a crash course in, a summary of the Lord in 5 different sessions, and today being the last one. And this concludes the mercy in motion of Lord Chaitanya. So we know that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is none other than Radha and Krishna. And he appeared in the golden form, resembling the glowing skin of Radharani in the mood of of Lord Krishna. So whenever we see the deity of Nitai Gaura Chandra in our temple, we should see Radha and Krishna in Lord Chaitanya. None different, none different. So as we have finished the 5 sessions and we are preparing the 3rd anniversary of Nitai Gaurachandra next week, next Sunday with Brahmotsav, and 2 days after is the birthday of Lord Chaitanya. I hope and pray that these 5 classes that we've had has really helped us to grow even more closer to the Lord, have deepened our understanding of Lord Chaitanya's position, has opened our minds wider and wider to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and fortunate how fortunate we are that after 5 classes of hearing the glories of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, that we have the deity of the Lord in our temple, and how blessed we are to worship them every time. Every time. Very, very fortunate. So I'm going to end the class here. If there are any questions, any comments, any sharing, any reflections, please do unmute yourself. And if anyone would like to dare, I don't think it's, I would like to go to the temple this evening right now for prasadam. Evidently, the brahmacharis made too much prasadam, so now they're begging for hungry souls to come and get prasadam. I told them not to cook too much, but they cook too much anyway. So if anyone would like prasadam, any hungry souls out there would like some Italian menu prasadam, mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, please, you can always, stop by the temple, get some prasadam, and relish the Lord's mercy. Any questions, any comments, anyone would like to share a pastime, please do so. I would love to hear. Yep, they have 2 kinds of pasta, I was told. They have green pesto pasta and white pasta. A lot of pasta. Italian menu. So please do stop by, and if you can, that is, and if it's close by, get some prasad. Would anyone would like to share any pastimes or ask any questions or share any realizations? Anything? We'll wait.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Can you repeat how Lord disappeared?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Lord, like in any time, whenever the Lord is dancing in ecstasy, he gets into transcendental ecstasy. And during the ecstasy, this was a temple, Tota Gopinath temple in Jagannath Puri, that the Lord was dancing in ecstasy, and he got into trance and he just merged into the deity of Tota Gopinath. And evidently, it was said that he merged. And I was reading a pastime from I believe Radhanath Swami on Iskon Desire Tree, that he merged into the knee. Why the knee, I don't know, but he merged into the knee of the deity, and that's how he left. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard you said, merging into the knee. And I was also kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, I don't know why he chose the knee, but he chose the Lord has full of reasons that is beyond our comprehension. But what I read, and I was told that till today that there is a line on the knee of the deity, which where the Lord merged in. Yeah,
Thank
beautiful
you very much.
pastime. Very beautiful pastime. Very, very nice. Yeah, it's so wonderful to read beautiful pastimes of our Lord, Very, very sweet. Because the more we read and we understand and we learn and the more it makes us become very close to the Lord. Our attitude, our service, our mindset, everything increases as practicing devotees of Krishna consciousness. When we increase our hearing, Shravanam, when we increase our hearing, it should increase our desire to want to serve more. It should increase our service. It should increase our hearing. It should increase our doing. It should increase. It can't stay plateau. It can't stay stagnant. It has to go up. It can't stay straight or it can't go down. It has to go up. And that it can only go up by hearing and hearing and hearing. And it increases our devotional service. And the more we, increase our devotional service, the more it will slowly help us to shed our attachments, that's holding us back to this material world, and bring us closer to the Lord and giving up everything and just running to the Lord. That's the goal of life, is to give up everything. And our ultimate goal is to go back to the Lord. And, we can't take our stuff with us. We got to let it go. we got to we got to leave it behind. Yeah. So any other questions or comments or sharing from devotees, please do unmute or share. Would love to hear from anyone if you would like to share some pastimes. Okay, if there isn't,
Hare Krishna.
yes.
Many of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, you see, there's a lot of enthusiasm in the things that he did. He himself and his devotees, they all express such enthusiasm, which increased their love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What are some of the things that devotees can do in order to have the enthusiasm go up in their service? Some of the things. You share your own experience, that may have happened, even from Girinagri, wherever we've
So,
been.
so what you're saying, so what you're asking is how can we increase our enthusiasm?
Yes.
Hearing. For I'll share what helped me is what helped me to increase my enthusiasm is hearing, engaging in devotional service, taking shelter of senior devotees and spiritual master, and always making sure that we are under the shelter of the devotees 24/7. We know we do not go away. And one thing I've also learned is accepting correction. That was one of my biggest learning in Krishna consciousness, is the more I was able and willing to accept guidance, correction, teachings, everything, the more it increased my desire to want to do the service better that's pleasing to Guru and Krishna. And that increased my enthusiasm. Hearing the glories of the Lord, hearing Bhagavatam classes, Bhagavad Gita, made me want to learn more and more and more. Following the instructions of seniors, and and another thing that really helped me is just by following. Oh, also another key point for me in my devotional life was learning from devotees who have surrendered their lives. Just by watching other devotees who have given up their lives in service to the Lord and Guru, given up everything that they have, sacrificed everything that they have, that was definitely an inspiration for me, that I remember sometimes saying prayers to the Lord has helped me to be inspired by such and such and such devotees who have given up their lives so that I can also carry the torch and carry on Prabhupada's mission. So I had exemplary devotees in my life, senior devotees who gave up their lives, sacrificed. I mean, till this very day, I can name hundreds of them, so many of them. They gave up their lives and they were inspiration. And that's the thing, we have to make sure that we are always under the shelter of devotees, right devotees, not any devotee. Devotees who have given up their lives, devotees who are exemplary in walking the talk of Krishna consciousness, devotees who have sacrificed everything that they have, pleasingly, enthusiastically. Like I was remembering one pastor from Balabhadra Prabhu, the proper disciple that we hear classes from, that he was saying that one time he was doing Sankirtan and he was caught by the police and put in jail. How many of us can think of spending a night in jail just because we were doing book distribution? Actually, how many of us would regret doing book distribution because we end up in jail? Let's think about it for a moment. Would we say, oh my God, Prabhupada, because I was giving out your books, I end up in jail. Now I have to pay this bill. My wife is home, my kids are home. We start thinking about all that, right? So when we hear such beautiful pastimes of real life pastimes of devotees sacrificing their lives for Sri Prabhupada, for service, enthusiastically, we have to learn to build the faith in what we hear. I think that's the key point, is is faith. When the faith is weak, then we have all this fear of, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if I go, like we have this fear of losing out on the material aspect of life. But it's because our faith is weak. But in order to build that faith, we have to make sure that we are under the shelter of faithful, strong devotees who won't even think twice to be in jail because they were distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. Can any of us for a moment think about that? Just for a moment. What would we do? Just ask yourself, if I was on the streets and if I was caught by the cops to go to jail, what would I do? So yeah, that's what helped me, I am still learning. I'll be honest with you, I am nowhere, close to any of the devotees of Prabhupada and all the acharyas where they can give out 2 boatfuls of gold coins. Like Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami. I'm nowhere. I'm just sharing my learning and I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to walk. Actually, no, I'm still learning how to follow in the footsteps of my seniors, my spiritual master, the acharyas, and the great souls. Hare Krishna. Sorry for the long answer.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Any other devotees would like to share something, would like to, say something, would like to ask something, please do so. Again, before I end the call, just making a request, if anyone is hungry, any hungry souls that want pasta, Italian menu, mercy of Lord of Nitai Gaurachandra, you are welcome to stop by the temple and pick up some prasadam. If there is any questions, we thank you all for joining us, and we hope that everyone is safe at home. Again, there's a reason why our festival was postponed, and which means let's not think that we have 6 days and we can slack and and the festival is going to fall into place. That means we have 6 more days to make the festival even more beautiful and memorable with more mercy to make, to give the Lord a wonderful celebration. Until then, we thank you all for joining us. Vanchakapatibhyascha, Kripa Sindhavevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a wonderful evening. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.